Welcome to BharatLens, India's sharpest eye on world affairs. May 2025. India and Pakistan fought a 4-day air war. Indian missiles hit Pakistani military bases. Pakistani jets targeted Indian airfields. The world held its breath, fearing a nuclear escalation. India called Pakistan a state sponsor of terrorism. India said Pakistan should be isolated. India said the world must choose a side. 11 months later, Donald Trump is having lunch with Pakistan's army chief and calling him amazing. Germany's Chancellor is tweeting, "We thank Pakistan." The UK Prime Minister personally called Islamabad to say thank you. And the entire European Union credited Pakistan, not India, with saving the world from a third world war. India is not in any of those conversations. This is India's worst geopolitical nightmare. And today, we need to talk about it honestly. What Pakistan did when the US-Israel war against Iran erupted earlier this year, the entire Middle East went into crisis. The Strait of Hormuz was threatened. Oil prices were spiking. Every major power was scrambling for a way to stop the escalation before it became a catastrophe. Pakistan made a calculated, brilliant move. On March 23, Pakistan formally offered to host talks between the US and Iran. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif echoed the offer publicly, tagging Trump, Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi, and US envoy Witkoff directly on X. This was not an accident. Pakistan had to maintain its mutual defense pact with Saudi Arabia while avoiding a direct confrontation with Iran, its neighbor with whom it shares a nearly 1,000 kilometers border. Al Jazeera, it was walking a tightrope. But it walked it perfectly. Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir visited Washington, D.C. twice. Trump publicly praised him on several occasions. Trump himself acknowledged Pakistan's ties with Iran, telling reporters that Pakistanis know Iran very well, better than most. And when the ceasefire was finally announced, Trump thanked Sharif and Munir by name, saying they did an amazing job and really tried to help us and the Iranians bridge the gap and get to a deal. Iran's top negotiator had similar words of thanks. Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz wrote on X, "We thank Pakistan for its mediation." UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer personally called Pakistan's foreign minister to thank him. The EU's foreign policy chief Kaja Kallas thanked Pakistan's FM for securing the deal. In less than 11 months, Pakistan went from state sponsor of terrorism, India's label, to the country that saved the world from World War III. That is an extraordinary image transformation. And India had nothing to do with it. Where was India now? Let's be completely fair here. India was not sitting idle. India was dealing with its own Hormuz crisis. Indian ships were literally being fired upon by Iran. The Indian Navy was escorting tankers. India summoned Iran's ambassador. India had its own urgent problems to manage. But here is the core issue. India's strategy throughout this entire crisis has been strategic silence. Stay neutral. Don't take sides. Don't offer to mediate. Protect Indian interests quietly. This is the same playbook India used in the Ukraine war, and it worked brilliantly there. But Pakistan just demonstrated that strategic silence has a cost. Officials in New Delhi have looked on warily as President Donald Trump and top officials around the world hailed Islamabad for its role as peacemaker in the US-Israel war against Iran. India has been trying to portray Pakistan as a sponsor of terrorism that shouldn't be trusted, but that message appears to have gained little traction. Think about what that means. India spent nearly a year telling the world, "Don't trust Pakistan, they are a terrorist state." And the world's response was, "Thanks, we'll let Pakistan host our most important peace talks." India's narrative lost. Pakistan's narrative won. Pakistan has proven its importance. As one analyst put it, Pakistan's geography is so unique that it cannot be ignored. Pakistan is a power to be reckoned with and very much a player. France 24. And here is the painful truth. Pakistan is a player partly because of its geography, its relationship with China, its relationship with the Gulf, and its relationship with Iran, all of which India has either no access to or difficult access to. Pakistan leveraged every one of these advantages simultaneously. Why this is dangerous for India? This isn't just about optics. This has real strategic consequences for India. 1. Pakistan's diplomatic rehabilitation makes it harder for India to isolate Pakistan at the UN, at FATF, or in any future conflict. If India and Pakistan have another military confrontation, and the risk of that remains very real, the world will now look at Pakistan as a responsible actor, not a rogue state. India's moral high ground just got significantly lower. 2. Pakistan's closeness with Trump is dangerous. India is facing 26% tariffs from the US right now. Pakistan got 19% tariffs. Trump is taking Asim Munir out for lunch. India's relationship with the Trump administration has been notably colder. The power dynamics in South Asia have quietly shifted. 3. The Islamabad talks framework gives Pakistan a permanent seat at the global high table. Even if the Iran deal eventually falls apart, and it may well, Pakistan has already established itself as an indispensable mediator. That reputation doesn't disappear overnight. India built strategic depth over 15 years. Pakistan may have just compressed that gap in 15 weeks. What India must do now? India cannot afford another 6 months of watching from the sidelines. First, India must aggressively push its own mediation offer on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. India has unique access to both Moscow and Kyiv. No other major power can say that. India should formalize a peace framework, name it, brand it, and make sure the world knows India is at the table. India cannot let Pakistan be the only South Asian country with a credible mediation record. Second, India must recalibrate its Trump relationship urgently. The Modi government needs a high-profile bilateral moment with Trump, a state visit, a major trade deal announcement, something that visually demonstrates that India and America are deeply aligned. Right now, the images of Trump with Asim Munir at lunch are defining the narrative. Third, India needs to use the BRICS chairmanship it holds in 2026 aggressively. India is chairing BRICS this year. That is a massive platform. India should use it to position itself as the voice of the global South on the Iran peace process, not Pakistan, not China, not anyone else. Strategic silence was brilliant when India was building power quietly. But you cannot stay silent forever. At some point you have to show your hand. That moment is now. Here is the question India needs to ask itself. Pakistan fought a war with India. Lost diplomatically. Got called a terrorist state. And still managed to reinvent itself as the world's peacemaker in under a year. India has better institutions, a stronger economy, a larger military, and more credibility. If Pakistan can do this with its limitations, what is India's excuse for not being in that room? Strategic autonomy is India's greatest strength. But autonomy without action is just isolation. India's moment to lead is not coming. It is already here. The question is whether New Delhi is bold enough to take it. I'll leave you with that. Comment below, is India's silent diplomacy now a liability? Has India lost this round to Pakistan? Let me know what you think. Subscribe to BharatLens and press the bell icon to not miss an update. Follow us on Instagram at BharatLens_white. See you in the next one.